For decades, the pattern in North American politics looked predictable. An American president would push hard in negotiations. A Canadian prime minister would object, negotiate carefully, and eventually settle somewhere in the middle. Not because Canada was weak, but because geography matters. Living next to the world's largest economy means every decision carries consequences. But recently, something different appeared to happen. During a tense trade dispute, U.S. President Donald Trump presented a set of strong economic demands. They covered trade terms, energy cooperation, and border policy alignment. Many observers assumed the outcome would follow the traditional path of compromise. Instead, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney took a quieter approach. He did not escalate publicly. He did not trade personal attacks. He simply declined the proposal, and that decision changed the tone of the situation immediately. What we are seeing may not be a crisis, but it may be a shift in negotiating style between two longtime partners. In this video, we'll walk through the timeline, the economic stakes, and why analysts believe both sides were sending signals far beyond a normal trade disagreement. Because this is not just about tariffs or commodities. It may be about leverage in a deeply interconnected economy. Let's start with the timeline. Several days ago, Washington reportedly sent Ottawa a draft memorandum, essentially a proposal outlining new conditions for economic cooperation. According to policy observers, the document focused on three major areas: energy pricing structures, digital taxation policy, alignment toward Chinese trade strategy. The proposal also reportedly included the possibility of significant tariffs if no agreement was reached within a short time frame. Normally, moments like this lead to emergency summits and rapid concessions from both sides. But instead of traveling to Washington, Prime Minister Carney held a press conference in Ottawa. His tone was measured. He did not criticize the United States directly. He stated that Canada would review the proposal, but would not sign under the presented terms. He also indicated that Canada would prepare countermeasures if tariffs were introduced. Markets reacted immediately, not with panic, but with uncertainty, because uncertainty is what economies react to most. Meanwhile, the White House responded publicly. President Trump defended the proposal as necessary to protect American economic interests and fairness in trade. Supporters argued the U.S. was correcting imbalances. Critics warned disruption could hurt both economies. While the public messaging intensified, private conversations reportedly expanded, involving business leaders, governors in border states, and international partners. What happened next is why analysts began paying attention. Not because of rhetoric, but because of economic structure. Factor one, energy interdependence. Large portions of electricity in parts of the northeastern United States come from Canadian hydroelectric exports. At the same time, Canadian oil relies heavily on American refining infrastructure. This means neither side can easily disengage. After the announcement, energy futures markets briefly fluctuated. Assigned traders were calculating potential risk scenarios, not predicting blackout, not predicting shortages, but pricing uncertainty. Factor two, manufacturing supply chains. Modern manufacturing in North America functions as a shared system. A single vehicle component may cross the border multiple times before final assembly. Economists warned that broad tariffs could slow production on both sides, not just imports. State officials in manufacturing regions privately expressed concern about disruption timelines measured in days rather than months. That is not a collapse scenario, but it is a sensitivity indicator. Factor three, Strategic Resources Canada possesses significant reserves of critical minerals used in batteries, electronics, and defense technology. Trade agreements include provisions allowing partners to redirect exports during national security concerns. Carney's statement referenced maintaining flexibility in resource partnerships, interpreted by analysts as a negotiating signal rather than a threat. Following the statement, some mining sector stocks moved modestly upward, reflecting expectations of diversification, not confrontation. International reaction. Interestingly, allied countries avoided taking sides publicly. Diplomatically, silence often indicates observation rather than approval or disapproval. Governments were likely waiting to see whether this would remain a negotiation or become a policy shift. Negotiating styles. Political scientists often describe Donald Trump's strategy as high-pressure bargaining, opening with strong demands to create room for compromise. Mark Carney's background is different. As former governor of both the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England, his communication style focuses on predictability and market confidence. So instead of counterpressure, he used stability messaging. Trump increased volume, Carney reduced volume. Both approaches aim at leverage, but through different audiences. One targets voters, the other targets markets. Why it matters. This situation matters because the US and Canada are not just neighbors. They operate one integrated economic zone. If negotiations become prolonged, prices may fluctuate, production may slow temporarily. Investment decisions may pause, not collapse. Adjustment. The real issue is trust. For decades, businesses assumed cross-border reliability. Now, companies are considering contingency plans on something rarely needed before, possible outcomes. Analysts outline 3 realistic scenarios. Scenario 1, symbolic resolution. Both sides claim success, adjust minor terms, and trade continues normally. Scenario 2, temporary tariffs. Short-term economic friction followed by negotiated settlement. Scenario 3, gradual diversification. Over years, both countries slowly reduce dependence in certain sectors. None of these imply hostility. They imply recalibration. The larger picture. This moment may represent a change in how allies negotiate in a multipolar economy. Not confrontation, but independence within partnership. Canada signaling flexibility. The United States signaling assertiveness. 2 strategies testing each other. So the question is not who wins. The question is whether modern alliances can adapt to economic nationalism without breaking cooperation. Because in deeply connected economies, victory rarely belongs to one side alone. What do you think? Is this simply a tough negotiation or the beginning of a new trade dynamic? Share your perspective and stay tuned. Markets will likely tell the real story before politicians do.